it's another wild and woolly day for the Wildcats as the spring-like weather of the past few days has disappeared. Wakefield coach Richard Agar has made one change to the side, beaten by Bradford. Andy Raleigh comes into the starting lineup and swaps places with Oliver Wilkes, who drops to the bench. Agar, of course, is back on his old stomping ground, but says his return is just a pantomime alongside the main event. Either way, it's time for curtain up for the Wildcats side, which reads Richie Manners at fullback, on the wings Peter Fox and Ben COCKAYNE. Centres Dean Collis and Vince Mellors. Standoff is Isaac John alongside scrum half Tim Smith. The two props, Andy Raleigh and Steve Southern. Hooker in between them, Paul Layton. The second rows, Danny Kermond and Ali Lauatiti. Loose forward, on the whole man, of course, Danny Washbrook. On the replacements bench, Kyle Wood, Paul Johnson, Oliver Wilkes as aforementioned, and Lucas Walshaw comes onto the bench as well. No changes for Hull in their starting lineup this afternoon. Wade McKinnon is at fullback. The wings, Will Sharp and Tom Briscoe. Centres, Tony Martin and KIRK YEAMAN. Standoff, Richard Horn. Scrum half, Brett Seymour. The two props, Mark O'Mealy and Andy Lynch. The captain, of course, Hooker, Danny Houghton. Second row, Willie Manu and Danny Tickle. And Martin Aspinwall is, of course, the loose forward. On the replacements bench, three changes with Sam Mower, Jamie Ellis and Eamon O'Carroll all coming into the squad lineup alongside Richard Whiting, who makes up the four on the replacements bench. The Whites will get things underway as Danny Tickle hits the ball with one bounce, and the Wildcats will bring it back in the end with Andy Raleigh. This time Milt Houghton will start things off, a little bit of a better break, and the chip over the top from Richard Horn, trying to use the pace. Fox has got to be careful here, and he does well. Safety first, not trying to be anything clever, just get himself over the ball and make sure it's back in Wildcats' hands. On again here, in towards Houghton, little chip over the top, and there's plenty of players in black and white this time, and it looks like they've got the score. The little chip over the top was perfectly weighted. The runners on the far side, it's YEAMAN who's gone in the end. East to west rather than north to south, literally in the case of this stadium, in the naming of the stands. And here comes Samoa again through the centre, manages to get the ball out, and then it bounces away off about 10 different pairs of hands, and the referee in the end decides that it will be Hull FC ball. Difficult to see who bounced off who and where and what there, as Whiting gets himself an extra yard. There's going to be a penalty here. Have a little bit of a warm as Horn puts the kick over again. Mathers this time has read it. He'll have to try the kick and try and put it behind. He hasn't quite done it. Now, was there a hand in there? Who got to that one first? Referee says no, it was the Wakefield hand that got there first. Better yardage, picking up some good mileage this time, the Wildcats. First time deep into the whole half. Smith finds Ayton on his shoulder. But Ayton's brought to the ground. A promising position here for the first time for the Wildcats as Isaac John tries to force it through, but McKinnon does well to deal with it, and then he's brought to the ground, and there's going to be another penalty here against Wakefield for a high shot. Nowhere for him to go, and just a sensible thing, keeps possession, comes into a central position, and Hull FC will probe again up towards the 10 metres. Mathers urging his side to get into the right place on the line for the defensive effort. Here comes Seymour again. Well, there's a player taken out there, but Sharp will score in the corner on the overlap, and Hull FC will extend their lead as Will Sharp goes over in the corner. So-called, I think the vocal cords are starting to freeze. Message is not quite getting through to the mouth there from the brain as the ball kicked forward, and there's a delay in terms of getting the ball out, and the referee will give the score to the Wildcats. Bad mistake in defence. Looks like it's Ben COCKAYNE who's taken advantage of it. Wilkes on the angle inside. No way through at the second. And eventually he's brought to the floor. Here comes Wood across the line. The support inside from Southern. But no breaks through. Very few from either side through the line. Both defensive lines have been very strong, but here perhaps there's a chance for Mathers. Just get it away for Ayton, who kicks it on. Could end up taking his own kick. It's forced on again. Can Wood get there for the try? He's got it over the line. Is the referee going to give it? He is! And the Wildcats are back in the game from nothing. The ball bouncing around after the original break from Mathers. Ayton, well, just sort of kicked it on. It bounced and rebounded and rattled its way off 2 or 3 players. And in the end, Kyle Wood reacted first and managed to get the ball down, and all of a sudden, with a kick over the post from John, Wakefield find themselves in double figures and only 4 points behind. And there's still 5 minutes left on the clock. 11,000 people here to see this one. And a small number of them from Wakefield, a couple of hundred away to my left, are on their feet as their side come forward again here with Fox. Warshaw steps up into the line, finds 3 men in front of him. It picks up 2 or 3 extra yards. He wriggles his way back to his feet as Wood finds Smith. Smith has room to run, has runners inside with Ayton. On the angle inside, but no way through. Still tackles to be had though for the Wildcats here. They come again here with John inside, looking for Vince Mellors. Mellors takes the tackle, 6 or 7 metres from the line. Smith just about manages to keep possession of the ball, and that stops the momentum as far as Wakefield are concerned. Tackles come in again as Wood manages to get it to Lauatiti on the little kick through, but it's picked up by Hull. And just when it looked like for a moment the Wildcats may be able to get something, they have 1.5 minutes left and they need the ball back in their hands if they could get something out of this one. It'll need a breakaway of monumental proportions now for the Wildcats to get anything out of this one, as YEAMAN takes it into the line, and on the last tackle, this will be the last play of the ball. So countdown, will they go for one with McKinnon? They will, but he's missed it, says the referee, and the hooter goes to bring the game to an end. And in the end, despite an excellent effort in the latter stages of this game and some hard work up front in defence, it's Hull FC who take the victory by 14 points to 10. The Wildcats found themselves 14-0 down just after the hour mark, after tries by KIRK in the first half, after he reacted fastest to a kick through to get the score on 18 minutes. Danny Tickle added on a couple of kicks in that first half, and then Will Sharp tagged on another 4 in the corner after 62 minutes to give the home side a 14-0 lead. And that looked like it was going to be it as far as the game was concerned, as far as the scoring was concerned. But the Wildcats suddenly opened up on 71 minutes with Ben COCKAYNE, this time being first to react after Hull was slow to deal with a kick over the top. They should have been able to defend it and just put the ball out of play, but they didn't, and COCKAYNE didn't give up on it, ran through and got the score. It wasn't converted, but 4 minutes later they were back over the line again with Kyle Wood after a neat break through the centre. Paul Ayton ended up kicking the ball forward as it bounced off a couple of pairs of legs, spun its way over the try line, and Kyle Wood reacted fastest to get a touch on the ball to get another 4 points on the board for the Wildcats. Isaac John tugging on the extra 2, but in the end it was too little too late, and the Wildcats will head off from a wintry Humberside with nothing to show for their efforts other than some very muddy shirts. The final scoreline at the KC Stadium, it's finished Hull FC 14, Wakefield 10.